and mainly for your interest in our work, in the projects that we are developing in LaLiga. Let me share with you the presentation. Okay. You can see it, right, Carlos, David? Carlos, David?
Okay, Tom.
Okay. Okay. So it's hard, it's difficult to explain in just 1 hour all the work that we have done in almost 5 years in the Liga Football Project Department, and complementing it with the adaptation that we have done in all these projects due to the COVID-19 period and the hard months that we have all of us been forced to live. But we're going to try our best. Please feel free to ask in the chat anything you want. We are going to try to review all the questions that you are going to share in the chat. And at the end of the presentation, we're going to try to answer to all of them, okay? So let's start. And I'm going to explain a little bit the structure of the presentation. I'm going to start with the origin, the mission, and the goals of our department. Then explaining a little bit our international expertise and know-how. My colleague Carlos is going to explain the projects, the services, and he's going to give some important inputs and details of our flagship projects. And finally, my colleague David, he's going to explain the adaptation that we have done in some of these projects during this COVID-19 last 3-4 months. Okay? So, starting with our origin, and I think this is important to understand the kind of work that we have done. LaLiga Sports Project Department was created in 2015. And since the very beginning, has been one of the main parts, one of the pillars of this global and international development strategy of our institution. But the reason, the basics, was no other than the reference of the Spanish football clubs, the Spanish training methodologies, and the Spanish coaches. Why? Because in the last 10 years, more or less, the last decade, since 2010, 2011, I think it's something known worldwide that the Spanish football know-how has been an international reference for other countries. And most of the people think that the reason are the successes, the results that our clubs and our national team have achieved in the last 10, 15 years with the European Championships and the World Cup of our national team, with the Champions Leagues of Real Madrid, Barcelona, the Europa Leagues of Atletico Madrid, of Sevilla. But this is not the origin. These are the results. These are the consequences. The origin, we have to go to the 90s, to the first years of the century, when the Spanish football institutions started complete rebuilding of their strategies. They started a new training system for the coaches. They started to work in new methodologies. They started to learn from other countries, because this is also very important. And as a consequence, as a result of this rebuilding, of this new strategy, we find the results and the successes of the Spanish national team and the Spanish clubs. And what we try to do is to transport this know-how to all these countries. So in 2013, with the arrival of La Liga's president, Javier Tebas, he had from the very beginning this clear international strategy, which started with a really outbreak in 2014. As a consequence, in the season 2014 and 2015, we opened the first international headquarters, the first international offices, first in Dubai and then in China. And this was the moment when, through these offices, they started to feel that there was a real need of launching a specific department focused only on the sports side, only on the sports and technical side. Okay, so that was when we started in 2015 working with some institution as the Chinese Minister of Education, as the Dubai and Abu Dhabi Sports Council, and this was the beginning of all the projects that we are going to see. So, as we used to say, this was only the beginning of a very long, challenging, but very exciting pathway. And honestly, I can say that these 5 years working in La Liga and these 5 years working in this department have been, without any doubt, the most exciting professional experience in my life. And something that I used to say is that what you live, what you learn, what you do in only 1 year working in La Liga, you will need like 4 or 5 years doing it in any other football institutions. So that's why it has been a so exciting trip together. Regarding our mission, our goal, our mission is very simple, but it's a huge one. It's to try to bring the knowledge gained throughout the years by all these Spanish clubs, coaches, professionals to all the world's countries and continents. And our goal, as I said before, is to try to disseminate these La Liga's values and know-how, okay, to try to promote our Spanish football culture. So if we move forward to our international expertise and know-how, just to give you a sense of how big is it what we are doing, this is the map showing the international presence of La Liga, okay? Not only the sports projects, but the presence globally with our headquarters in Madrid, our La Liga offices in the USA, in Mexico, in South Africa, in Nigeria, in India, in the Emirates, in China, and in Singapore. And then finally with our global network delegates, which are, as you can see, distributed in all 5 continents and in many different countries all around the world, and they do an amazing work to try to find new projects. Who do we work for internally in La Liga? So first of all, of course, to all these international headquarters, okay? But also to other internal departments and areas, and mainly, as you can see, with our international direction, with our events and marketing area, with our La Liga Foundation, which is very important also for us, then branding and communication, technology and business intelligence, and also, because it's always included in all our football projects, with our women football department. And internationally, who do we work for? These are the countries where we have implemented some of our projects. It left Canada, but this is the main global picture. We work mainly for other international leagues and federations. We have different agreements with them. We work also with international clubs and football academies. Of course, also we have different kind of agreements and partnerships with different stakeholders, private companies, etc. also a big group of institutions we work with are the governments and other public authorities or institutions, and also with La Liga football clubs. And this has been a big step in our strategy, because in the last couple of years, La Liga football clubs, also the small ones, not only Barcelona, not only Real Madrid or Atletico de Madrid, but also the small ones, have started this international strategy. So we try to work very closely with them to help them or to support them in everything they may need. Then if we go to the different kind of projects and services that we are implemented, we can divide it into 4 main fields of intervention. The first one would be the global advisory and consultancy services that we offer mainly to other professional leagues, to other football federations, and to other international clubs. Okay. The second one, and probably the main one, youth football programs. Here include, as we're going to see later with Carlos, all our La Liga academies, the high performance centers, La Liga camps, La Liga clinics, the scouting and talent detection programs. So this is the flagship of our work. A third important part is the coaching education. As we are going to see later, we offer different kind of training courses with a very specific structure and adapted to the needs and to the preferences of every partner. Okay. And finally, the new technologies. Now Media Coach is a single department inside in La Liga, but we still work in different kind of new technologies. And one very new one that we are going to launch next season is that we have created and developed our own management and control software for La Liga academies. Okay, to implement all our methodology, all the processes that we do with our coaches. It's going to be all together in a single platform, in a single software. If we speak about, if we divide our projects regarding the timing, we have in one hand long-term projects as our football development global projects, our Liga academies, high performance centers, and these La Liga coaching education programs. And then we have other short and mid-term projects which run from a single day, 2-3 days, to 1 month or a few months, which are the scouting and talent detection projects, La Liga camps, La Liga clinics, the training programs, and the high performance stages and experiences in Spain. Later on, my colleague Carlos is going to give specific examples of each one of these projects. Going through a few numbers. In these last 5 years, we have implemented projects in 35 countries of the 5 continents. Okay, we have carried out 315 projects in different cultures, different contexts, and from the very initiation levels to high performance and professional levels. We have sent to all these 315 projects 665 La Liga coaches. All of them have a UEFA Pro level with national and international experience, and the most important, we train all of these coaches before sending them to these projects. We train them in our methodology, we train them in our specific protocol reports, protocols. So we make sure that what we propose from Madrid, from our La Liga headquarters, is really being implemented in each one of the countries. Okay? We have trained more than 16,000 coaches with our La Liga training methodology, divided into 3 levels. And finally, we have worked directly with more than 160,000 players, boys and girls from all ages, from all backgrounds and levels, as we are going to see later. I think to see a little bit the evolution and the growth during these last 5 years, you can see as we started in 2015 with just a few projects, and then little by little, we grow up in projects, in countries, in La Liga coaches, in the trained coaches and players, okay? Arriving to the data, the numbers currently, and we hope that despite the global situation that we are all living with this COVID-19 crisis, we are pretty sure that in the coming seasons, we are going to be able to even increase these amazing numbers. And now I'm going to give the parole to my colleague Carlos, who is going to give you some of the details of our most important programs and projects. So thank you, everyone. And Carlos, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much for this introduction, Juan, and also thank you for all the attendees that we have today in place right now. I saw among them some partners and colleagues that we have. Very pleased, as always, to share with you guys our experience and the insights of our projects. So, first of all, we have La Liga Academies and HPC. What is La Liga Academy and what is La Liga HPC? So those programs are permanent programs. There are permanent training centers we have settled all around the world in different territories. It's very similar. Is to make a kind of parallelism with our clubs. Is very similar about what our clubs have in daily basis operations. It means we have here different teams grouped in different age levels and in different performance levels too, and they attend different competitions. Of course, these teams and this structure are trained by La Liga coaches. We have in place in the different training centers we have all around the world, we have in place La Liga coaches hired by us, UEFA Pro certificate, at least 5 years of experience, and of course some background around the degrees in some matters as sports science and so on. And they follow these coaches that are training by us before join these kind of programs, as all the coaches we have. They follow our methodology. They follow La Liga training methodology. And it's very important this point because, first of all, we set this methodology in coordination with our clubs, respecting the main points they have in the daily basis training. We set La Liga training methodology also taking into account the different realities the different countries could have, and they share with them in a weekly basis, in different meetings we have periodically with them, our methodology, and we take care that they are respecting our protocols and they are training the players in our way. It's very important to ensure that. These academies and HPC has like kind of a pyramid structure. It means the players joined our academies in different tryouts, in different open house, in different scouting process. We organize in the different locations that we are going to open the academy. After that, they join La Liga Academy that is open to everyone to need to or to wants to have an experience with La Liga, and if they achieve some level, some performance level, they join the HPC. That is the final teams, our main competition teams that they are in this structure. After that, we have also different stimulus for that players. We have different stages that we're going to see later in these presentations, different stages and training experience here in Spain, different trials, and so on. So now what we're going to do is to see one video about one of our flagship academies and HPCs in the UAE, in the United Arab Emirates, where we are implementing these kind of projects for the very beginning of the department. Okay, of images related with this high performance center. It's very important here to mention in this kind of projects we have that, of course, it's going to be very difficult to tell the players that we are going to have a pathway, a quickly pathway to La Liga, because La Liga is a top competition in football all around the world, and it's going to be very difficult to one guy who starts to play at 10 years old in the UAE or India or in China to achieve this competition here in Spain, because we have a very high level of performance here. So what we try to do is to give them the pathway, from the beginning to the senior age, and we do that through our structure in our academies and through our structure in projects and tryouts that we organize. In this case, in this kind of programs, some of them achieve to some trials here in Spain with some of our grassroots teams. We are talking, as you all know, about the FIFA regulation. We're talking always with senior players, more than 18 years old, and other ones that have a certain level and performance. They are able to join different teams in this country or in others, such as India, signing different professional agreements. Here in this slide, we have inside a world view of the academies we have in place. We have in yellow Vietnam, that we are now in conversation with our partner, and hopefully we are going to open soon in Vietnam. But we have in different contexts different academies, such as India, China, Egypt. We already mentioned the Emirates, Indonesia, Canada, and USA. At this point, and one thing that we are mentioning in our meetings with the partners is to fit the project to the reality of the country. It means, for example, we have the case in the UAE that we have the regulations that don't allow.
No sé por qué se puso. Perdón.
Okay, I think now we go ahead. Now, I was saying that it's very important to fit the project to the necessities of the country. For example, here in the UAE, we have many expats living there, but the federation don't allow these expats, and these young people coming from other countries to take part in the current competition, in the federative competition. So what we have is to see this opportunity to set different competitions in place, not between clubs, the federative clubs. We are talking about our HPC and other HPC that they are settled down in the country, and after that, when they reach at the same level, when they reach the senior age, we put them into the scenario of the professional clubs. So there is all information that this these projects are very related about the reality of each country. Now we are going to go to other projects. Juan talked about the advisory system. One of our best examples in this matter is this project we have with the Solomon Islands Football Federation. In the previous years, we have different exchange with them. They told us that we need to go one step forward in terms of structure of their football federation, about also taking into account the national team and the objectives they have settled for this national team. So what we did is to hire one technical director for this federation, that at the same place was the national team head coach. This technical director take care about to give one structure to the grassroots football in the country, setting different competitions in both male and female football, and also taking care, as we are seeing in the bottom of this slide, to the different national teams. We get a very good result in the under 16, having the first ever World Cup qualification in 219. Also, they were about to classify for the World Cup, having also a good performance in terms of the national senior team. So this is all about this kind of programs we have, a first example of advisory, and now we are going through a more social program or mixed program that we have in India. In India, what we did is LaLiga football schools, that are projects that happens, that are training centers, permanent training centers, similar to the academies, but now we are in a reality very linked with the schools. We have programs in school, in the hours of in the academic hours of the kids. They are in India of different ages, from 8 years old to 18 years old, but we have also programs out of school where the kids can come and have more time of experience with La Liga. We have on board in place 3 coaches in India, hired by us, taking care of different regions. We have one in Delhi region, one in Mumbai, and one in the south, and they implement the methodology through among 60 local coaches that are recruited, that are hired by these coaches with different interviews, with different trainings, and they are the ones who implement this kind of programs. It's very important to mention that in these locations we have in all around India, we're talking about 36 schools and 50 locations. We involve in some of these locations our clubs. We involve clubs such as Sevilla, Betis, Celta, that are present in these programs too, and for them it's added value, giving them opportunity to be in this market. Now we're going to see a video about this program, about the coaches training we do in this program, because for us it's very important to hire the correct coaches, the correct local coaches, and also to train them and giving them a pathway through our project. So please, Juan, go ahead with okay. Okay, perfect. So just to show that it's for us very important to keep this this training with the local coaches. In this time, at this time, what we did is to put them into a location through a 2 weeks program with the 3 coaches we have on board there, and also with Juan that was traveling there to support this program and to teach them some insights of LaLiga methodology. Even though they are in continuous contact and in continuous training with our coaches in the different regions. So it's very important to be aware of that and to follow with this kind of visits the performance of our coaches and also the status of the different programs. Talking more about the coaching education programs that we already mentioned. Now we have already talked about the coaching education programs we have in our permanent projects inside these projects, not outside these projects. And now we are going to talk in coaching education short-term programs. It means we have 4 levels of specialization in terms of coaching education. First level, introduction, we talk about the early stages, we talk about some insights and some basic concepts about the system and the game models. In the second level, we go into other performance level in the development stages from 14 to 16 years old, more or less. We implement some knowledge about new technologies, about different invisible training that we can also implement in our mission. Level 3 that is more close to the performance, and the level 0 and the level 1 here in Spain, that is a whole immersion in LaLiga methodology where we visit different of our clubs and to see in first person how it's happening, how they training and how they organize the methodology and the training process. Some of the examples, of course, China, with our agreement with the Ministry of Education, Chinese Super League and Chinese Football Association. Maybe the most important program in this matter with US Club Soccer that we have already do 17 courses in all these 4 years. African leagues and federations. I saw in the briefing some person from Nigeria Women's Football League were working together with them during this period to give them some webinars. Also, we have a 4 years contract with the Nigerian Professional Football League, having 1 course per year there in place in Nigeria. Some of the South American leagues and federation, Asian leagues, we work together also with the Thai League and the UAE. Okay, so it will be our structure in terms of coaching education programs. What topics we are working in these coaching education programs? We talk about training and methodology, about what to train in each stage and in each performance level. We talk about the development of these players from the time we took these players at 8 years old to the high performance level. We talk about also some tools to analyze the individual and the collective performance and to scout the players. And also, because we believe that is very important nowadays to be aware of these new technologies and apply to the sports, we add this kind of context to our courses. So it will be our structure and our topics in these coaching education courses. Is we saw that we already mentioned linked to our academies and APCs, we have LaLiga training stages in Spain. We are talking about 2 weeks experience that we did together here in Spain with also with our class. We hire LaLiga coaches to train these groups. Maybe we brought them from the different academies we have or high performance we have all around the world. We hire them, we prepare for them a training plan for these 2 weeks, and also very important, a competitive plan, but because it's also related to have a good competitive stimulus against our grassroots teams. Also, it could be implement different activities such as attendance to LaLiga stadiums and matches, some cultural visits or student exchanges, but the most important is to give the kids and to give the youth players the proper scenario to develop their skills here in Spain and to get scouted by our clubs. Some of the samples, we are working together with different clubs and federations from Asia, African clubs. The last time we had both teams from Kenya, one female team under 18 and one male team under 18 that were selected there in place in a tournament by our coaches and other institutions, Alianza in USA, that now we are going to see the example in the video about what we did with Alianza. So first, to see this video, I would like to mention a little bit the project of Alianza. Alianza is a project that we carried out in all the United States territory, and the objective of this program was to give the opportunity to those kids that come from families that they don't have so much economical resources. They came from other countries, border countries such as Mexico, such as South America countries. The objective was to give these kids the opportunity to join a certain performance level. We set a scouting process. We select the best of these kids in many cities all around the US, and we call some experts from MLS and LaLiga Mexico clubs to give them the opportunity to get scouted by these people. Also, we were in place, 3 LaLiga coaches, to select a team of 18 players to bring them to Spain and to give them the experience we have already talked in La Liga stages. So this video is a proof that this kind of projects works, and it could be also the opportunity to get scouted by our clubs. As you are going to see in the video, 3 of these players were called from one of our clubs, in this case Oviedo, to have like a proof during the pre-season period, during 2 weeks. So please, we're going to see the video now. Okay, perfect. So one example about this project, and now we are going to go ahead with other similar project that we implement in Brazil. In this case, Bravo project. It is a huge impact project that we perform in Brazil. Maybe some of you know it because our partner made a reality show all around this project, and important to know why we did this project in Brazil. We did this project mainly for 2 reasons. In Brazil, we have a huge amount of players between 16 to 18 years old that are not, or that are out of the club's structure. In Brazil, we have many players, but we don't have many professional clubs. So the project was for give them the opportunity to get scouted, these players that are not in a club, in a professional club during the whole year. We give them the possibility to get a scout and to get selected by La Liga to travel to Spain and to get also seen from our clubs. And also, we all know the reality of and the characteristics of the Brazilian players. They are talented players, some kind of difference from Spanish players that are more in terms of academical, they are more tactical skilled. Brazilian players, they have other characteristics that could be implemented and linked with the players that we have in Spain, and maybe for our clubs it's very important to get also these players in the reserve teams. We are going to call them in the next stage that we are going to do with them in September, if it's possible. So now we're going to see the video related with that. Okay, if you want to know more about this project, you have all the videos in the YouTube platform where we have this project. Also, in this project, it was very important to mention that we were 6 La Liga coaches in this in the Sorocaba Training Center during 2 months to try to do this selection process. And once we did this selection process to train these players, we use business intelligence tools to help us to decide which players are the best to bring here to Spain and what are the necessities of our teams. And also we had the presence, as you saw in the video, of some icons of Brazilian former players such as Cafu, Edilson, Belletti, and so on, that help us also to give this message to the kids. And now we're going to see a social project we have in Satari, the refugee camp in Syria, where we try to improve the life of the kids that they are living there. We have there in this refugee camp, we have about 80,000 people living there. Half of them, they are youngsters. And what we did is to select, together with the Liga Foundation, 2 coaches, bring them to this contest and work together with them to implement different competitions, to train the coaches they have already in the on place, and also to give some experience to the kids. Also, we offer our clubs the possibility to be linked with this project in the competitions we are organizing in these refugee camps. Each club that want to be present in this project have a team in these competitions we have already organized, and it's just an example of social project that we are implementing, and now my colleague David is going to measure more in details.
Okay, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Juan. I share the presentation. It's okay?
Sí.
Yeah, come on. Yeah, La Liga football projects and their adaptation to COVID-19, okay? Yeah, the most important thing for our projects has been to direct them to achieve these 4 objectives that you can observe, okay? Continuity, belonging, monitoring, support, motivation. Yeah, inside the hard situation we go through, we have to make the player still enjoy football with us hands in hand, okay? We present different proposals, three projects, Satari social project, La Liga Football School India, and La Liga at Home, okay? As my partner Carlos has already commented about the project is developed in the refugee camp. The actions that are held highlighting are different, no? La Liga competition, 2 championships in back-and-back format, U15 boys integrated by 20 teams, and U13 girls integrated by 16 teams. Okay, each team is twined with a La Liga club wearing its color and representing the entity in destination. Okay, there are many actions to be done in collaboration with the class, and without then it will be impossible to advance the project. For the other hand, La Liga training program, directed trainings participating players of all ages in a structured manner and with and continuity during the season. And the last, training of coaches. Training program for coaches and local referees, where content, structure, and program adapted to the context is the most important, has been established. No? It is a satisfaction to see the coaches' implication and commitment to want to learn and advance. In relation to this, we will share training with the technician online during this period, a hard period in the country. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, animation. Okay, a content program adapted to the context and situation has been developed. Okay, with the help of the new technologies through videos which simplify and bring the context together, combining real game situation and animated text. Okay, now in the difficulty of attracting the coach and interactive material has been created that continue during all this process. On the right, we can observe a different example, adaptation to different contexts and contexts of the referees and the coaches. For example, yeah, now you can observe a real example is the content that the coaches receives weekly. Okay, we see the 3D recreation simulate the practice in the field and the transfer that has in real game with images of LaLiga matches. Okay, I post the video. Yeah, for example, is a example in 3D recreation. Yeah, simulating the real game. Yeah, it's a different context in the different areas of knowledge. Yeah. If, for example, it's the recreation in the match of La Liga, okay? Sorry. Yeah. It's the same actions, yeah, in 3D, in real actions. Okay. More than 50 coaches have been involved in this program. A constant communication with them has been established. Using different ways, but always bearing in mind the project context and the difficult context. Okay, each module is associated with an evaluation through an app, which allows us to have also control of the viewing and simulation of the process contents. Okay, the contents are adapted to the language, favoring the material in English and Arabic. It's very important this because the people participate in this program is the different contexts. Okay. Now, La Liga Football School. Before we knew the La Liga Football School project, a different project with a great impact in India. But the different areas that Carlos spoke before, which supported the project, has commented about below. We see how we adapt the magnitude of the project of the situation and the continuity that it may be offered. Okay, the activity has been directed to give continuity to La Liga Football School team and group training program, La Liga Football School technician training program and coaches. They have been implemented. It's very important two ways. Training program for external coaches to the La Liga Football School program, having a great acceptance, and the individual training program where a large number of players have requested the service. Okay, we can observe the data obtained to date. The communication route established are different with a common objective of closeness and motivation to follow in that growth program for both players and coaches. Okay. This is our project, a new project implemented in this period. This is very important for us. La Liga at Home is a project that is born to give continuity not only in our project, but it gives number of entities associated to La Liga and even the followers of our competition through the social media. Okay. With different contents classified in 5 categories, and as you can observe in the slide, learning, workout, skill, La Liga testimony, and quiz. Later, we will be able to see a real doing this project. The clubs that have collaborated in the project are different, closing their knowledge and knowing the work structure. For example, different clubs, Celta de Vigo, Athletic Club, Valencia, Atlético de Madrid, Leganés, Villarreal, and Alcorcón is a different class collaborating with us. Okay. In the same way, the companies that have provided the contents of La Liga Home today user are different. No? We can observe in the slide different entities on the show offering service and getting closer to La Liga. These are some of different examples of publication now in social media. Yeah. Where the project has had a great impact with social media, more than 3 million impressions, more than 10 million reach, more than 600,000 engagement. Okay, it's a great result for us. The impact is very important for the company. Yeah, now it's possible to see a real proposal, concrete week 4 during this period. Yeah, I talk in relation with this, with different topics. For example, in this situation, learning, these topics are 10, 15 video training videos in which a La Liga coach or a club professional analysis and analyze a series of topics related to various contents that concentrate in healthy habits, nutrition, psychological aspects, as well as the working model of the La Liga Academy and clubs. For example, in this case, it's a worker of Valencia Football Club, concrete nutrition. Yeah, it's a video. Yeah, different recommendations during this period when all the people stay at home. In the other hand, it's another topic. Workout is a routine of physical conditional work with the aim of promoting physical activity and maintaining sport practice during confinement. No? One of the La Liga coaches support and demonstrated the table of proposed tasks with an explanatory video. For example, in this is Javier Cabrera. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Technical director of La Liga Football Schools. Yeah, it's a video version, the different proposal for all the people, not only for our players. Okay. Yeah, now is different. No, it's in relation with the game, with the joy, the people in relation with the company. No, our company La Liga. Yeah, it's a different proposal to evaluate soccer knowledge through different channels, ranging from technical and tactical analysis of different game situations to more playful proposal with the aim of knowing in depth the teams and players in our league, riddles, war, puzzles, problem to solve. Yeah, this is a different example. A rondo of the words, a different data in relation for a player of La Liga Santander or La Liga, yeah, or different situation for the different coaches, data of relation of our coaches in La Liga, yeah. Yeah, it's other topic in our project, skills. Now, challenge of skill with the ball, encoding the completion of, showing the video. Now we start all together. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I say challenge of skill with the ball, yeah, including the completion of different proposal individual technique that will progress for lesser to more complex. Okay. Yeah, this is our coach, Saul, regional coordinator of LaLiga football schools. Okay. In the last LaLiga testimonial, no? Yeah, it's a space in which a professional from LaLiga or one of the class that make it approaches and explain some of the specific projects that he develops on a daily basis. No, it's important for us to explain the different routines in the different projects. It's a space free for the class to explain to your structure. Okay. For my hand, yeah, I think that is okay. Juan Carlos.
Okay, David, thank you very much. So that's all from our side. As I told at the beginning, it's really hard to explain all our projects in just 1 hour, but I hope that you can have a global picture of what we are doing, and this last adaptation to the COVID period with this different kind of activities. I think there are a couple of questions in the chat I would like to ask too. Taz is asking if we have a focus on performance analysis on individual players within the academies. In this sense, we have to make the difference between a performance context and an initiation or development context. Usually, as Carlos explained, in all our academies, we have 3 levels. We have a development level, the first one, the basic one. We have an advanced level, and we have the high performance level. So even if we have an individual analysis of all the players of the academy, because we have individual reports of their performance both in the training and in the competition, it's only in the high performance level, in the high performance context, when we really give a clear focus on the player, on the individual, not only in the team, but also in the player. And this is something that in Spain is being a common focus in our La Liga clubs and in the academies. Some years ago, everybody was speaking about the team, the results, the classification, and so on. But nowadays, if you ask any La Liga Academy director from any club, Atlético de Madrid, Valencia, Villarreal, Leganés, I think all of them are going to give you the same feedback. The project is the player, or the player is the project. Okay, so the main focus and the main challenge is the player as an individual one, not the collective, not the results. So it's a good question, Taz, because more and more we have to do this individual analysis of the players from an individual point of view if we are in this high performance context. If we are in a more educative initiation level, I think the focus has to be the collective, has to be the team. So it's important to make the difference. And then Desiree Ellis is asking if we have scouts in all the countries, or if the players are recommended, and if it's both male and female. Starting with the end, of course, as Carlos explained, we work both with boys and girls, with male and female players. Okay, and then we don't have scouts in all the countries. What we do is that before we launch, in this case, an academy or a high performance center, we do this scouting program in place to make sure that we are finding talent in every country. And as we see with Bravo in Brazil, which is, I think it's a good example, we create the perfect context to do this scouting and to find the talent. So depending on the project, the scouting process, it's a little bit different, but it's impossible to have, from our side, scouting in all the countries if we don't have projects in place, okay? And some more questions. Muhammad is asking, what if a country that already have a football methodology that La Liga Academy already in there to combine the La Liga Academy methodology? Let's see. I think if I am understanding the question is, you are asking if we can combine La Liga training methodology with the local football methodology or philosophy or football understanding. Of course, it's possible, but it's not only possible, it's necessary. We will be crazy if we think that Carlos, David, and myself, we can create La Liga methodology and it's going to work worldwide in all the countries. Okay, this is impossible. In all the projects that we implement, in all the countries where we work, we have to adapt some things of our methodology. Sometimes these are only small adaptations, and sometimes there are big adaptations to do because we have to adapt it to the culture, to the context, to the daily basics of every country, of every society, of every culture. So the adaptation, I think it's probably the key factor of the success. And from the beginning, we have learned it because we have, of course, committed mistakes also. And little by little, we have understood and we have learned that adaptation is everything. So it's very important to combine our way of thinking, to combine our methodology, to combine our football philosophy with the local characteristics of every project. Okay, I think it's clear. Daniel, he's asking, those La Liga academies within Spain and outside accept refugees, especially the potential to be a professionals? Well, I cannot speak about La Liga clubs, of course, because every club, every Spanish academy has its own philosophy and policy. And from our side, from La Liga side, we don't offer a simple opportunity to come to Spain to try to be a professional player. We don't really believe on it. We believe on the chance of creating a good context to give the players the opportunity. Okay? But I think our duty as La Liga, as an institution, our role cannot be just to look for good talents and without any other consideration bringing them to Spain. This is not our role. Our role is to create a good context. And once we have this good context, to see which kind of opportunities can be possible. Okay? And of course, if it's in a refugee context, as the one we are working on, we don't make really the difference, okay? It depends on the projects and the objectives and goals of the projects. Jose Angel, thank you very much, my friend. I'm glad that you have participated with us. Jose Angel has been one of our coaches in the 4 first months of the projects. Now he's working in Leganés as the main responsible of his international department. So it's good to hear from you, Jose Angel. And if there are not more questions, I just want to say thank you one more time to everyone. Thank you, Carlos, David, for the presentation. Thank you to World Football Summit, to Laura, Jesus, for giving us the opportunity to share with all the attendees our work. And as always, we remain at your disposal for anything you may need. Thank you very much. Hope you have enjoyed this time with us, and hope to see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carlos, Juan, and David. It was a real honor to have you here today. I think you explained in a very concise and clear way the different projects that LaLiga is developing nowadays and how you are adapting them to this new normality with COVID-19. So we don't have any more questions. Thank you all for attending. We will continue today with different panels at World Football Summit, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, Laura. Bye-bye.
Laura.
Bye-bye.